Good morning and welcome back to Cheeky Little Piggy Farm. Today I'm going to show you a swarm that I caught this morning in the pouring down rain. As you know, we are a small homestead. We're just under 2 acres and we have bees and pigs and peacocks and chickens, and we run a business out of our home as a side, selling jams and jellies and preserves and pickles and things that we make here and grow right here on the farm. So this is a bee swarm, my first one of the season. I usually have several by now, but it's been a crappy spring here in Boring, Oregon. So I kind of pieced together the video because it would start pouring while I was trying to do little parts of the swarm capture. So I'm hoping I can show you kind of the importance of why you should go out and get swarms when you can. And hopefully you learned something. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I love to talk bees. Easiest swarm ever. It's literally 2 feet from the ground. Hey, good morning. I'm out here at 9 a.m. getting a bee swarm that I got called on. And here's the important part. Yesterday was super hot in the Pacific Northwest. We're in Boring, Oregon. Sunny, but we didn't get any swarm calls. Super strange. We think something was wrong with the swarm line where people were reporting them and that we beekeepers weren't getting the calls. So it's really unfortunate because we woke up to a downpour of rain. And what happens there is that bees have already swarmed and they're landed somewhere on a tree branch, and then they get caught in the rain before they can find a new home. So they essentially get stuck and soaked and cold, and we lose a lot of the hives. So I was able to salvage this one. There's still gonna be kind of a lot of losses. Woo, can you hear all those trucks in the background? I'm like right by the highway. Still gonna be a lot of losses because they're really wet and cold, but we are trying our best to save as many as possible, and I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. I have a lot of bees flying around me. Hello, friends. Because I am dry and I may have given them a bunch of powdered sugar, so it might be on me a little bit. So look at this, I am soaked already. I'm gonna switch the camera around so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's see if I can do that. All right, here we go. So this was the swarm that I caught. It was just like, I don't know, less than 4 feet off the ground. And so I didn't waste any time. I wish I would have gotten it on video, but I just smacked him right into this box that I have. It's just an old nuke box. I have 5 frames in there, and I did put a bunch of powdered sugar in there. They're getting a little ornery. So I'm stepping back because I don't have a glove on my hand at the moment. Here, you know what? There's a bee on my glove. I can't even pick it up. Yeah, my glove, guys. Let's make sure. All right, I keep losing my video, so let me try this again. It's really hard to do with these bee gloves on because I can't move my phone. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. Look at this bee here. It is soaking wet and cold. So it's not dry enough, it's too heavy to be flying around. So like we shook the box in here and look at all these bees. These bees, so these might have been the ones that were on the outside. They are definitely not gonna make it just because I cannot safely pick them up. Here we go. Like there's just, I mean, it looks like a ton, but in the grand scheme of the hive, it is not. But look at, they are so wet that they're not gonna be able to fly, and they have to be able to fly into our box here. So I've tried to put like ramps with my brush here. I got the bush part so they can walk up if they can't make it, but look, all these poor bees, they're not able to make it in. They're just too cold and wet. So we save what we can of the hive, but this is why it is extremely, look at, you can see them fanning. They stick their butts up in the air and they flop their wings really fast, and it's called fanning. And they do that towards the entrance of the hive because the queen is in there, and it signals all the other bees to come into this direction, and this is where the new hive is. So let me see if I can give you a little peek, but I don't want to aggravate them or get them wet. But this is a substantial, look at this, look at this. So I did give them some powdered sugar just because they are suffering right now. They're really cold and wet, and that just gives them some food. I'm gonna close that back up. So let's look. So right here, I cut this branch off. This is where the swarm was. And they were just hanging on here in this rose bush. And they were so wet. So it looks like we'll have to leave some behind, and that is extremely unfortunate. But I think we have the majority of the hive in here, and we are gonna give them a new home at our farm. We are very excited about that. Yes. Woo! Can we talk about my hair in this? Woo! Look at it, it's all sticking up. So I am gonna drive home in my SUV. Ta-da! I got someone to watch my 2-year-old, so I didn't have to have her in the car. I would normally bring my truck if I had her so I can put the bees in the back, because ultimately I will have bees flying all around in my car, the ones that get stuck on the box. But we will set this, I've read here, we will set it on top of one of our empty beehives at the farm, and we'll open up the entrance and just let them acclimate to their new destination. And then next kind of break in the rain, I will transfer them into the big hive, and we will give them several frames of honey from last year, just to kind of give them a boost, possibly a pollen patty, because they're not going to be able to get out too much. Sorry, there was a bee on my finger, and I tend to blow up like a balloon, so didn't want to risk that. So we'll give them pollen patty and frames of honey, and that will give them quite the boost. And all the frames but one in there, that's a 5-frame box, are fully drawn out, so the queen can start laying right away. So we're hopeful that that will give them enough of a head start, and we are very excited to see what this one does. This is my first swarm of the year. My husband may have gotten 3 on Saturday because he's a show off. So, but I worked. That's my defense. I'll keep you posted on what happens when we get home. Okay, so hi. We are driving home. Yes, I am in my bee suit because I'm not an idiot, and there were bees all over my suit that were just kind of stuck there because they can't fly because they were so wet. So I have this on my car, but you can't see, like, it's just pouring buckets outside. They weren't going to make it very long, so I'm happy about that. I'm getting some weird looks from other drivers, that's for sure. Just like this weirdo in a bee suit just driving down the road. So I will get them all settled. It looks like we're not going to have a break in the weather until like Wednesday night. So I'm hoping they'll be okay in their box. And if there's even like 30 minutes where it's dry today, I am going to be running out to the bee yard and getting them settled into a bigger hive with a bunch of feed. So, well, this is just super fun. All right, we made it back to the farm. We are going to walk out to the bee yard. I've got my box in my arms. Hopefully I'm not jostling them around. You can hear them buzzing and feel the box going zzz. So they're in there. Some have survived. It is soaking wet. My suit is completely soaked. So, even the bee yard looks kind of nasty today. Poor bees. They want to get out. So many things are in bloom right now, and they can't get anything. I almost dropped the bee box. Here's our bee yard in our main part of the house. We have some in the front of the farm as well. We're huge fans of the bright colors. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think these 3 are new swarms. No, those 2 are new swarms. I think this one is open. This one has no bees in it. So let's see, just in case. Here we go. No bees. All right. This will be their new forever home. Here's what we're gonna do. We take the box. This is just like if you're installing a nuke. And we're gonna put it right where their hive's gonna be. This is where their new home is. So what we do is I'm gonna open them up so they can acclimate. I'm gonna put a little bit of grass on the way. You know why we do this? It's so they have to kind of stop and look around instead of just shooting out, because if they shoot out, they're not gonna know where they are, and they're gonna get confused and end up like somewhere in the field. So they need to be able to slow down, look around, figure out their coordinates and know that this is their new home. We got lots of bees coming out here. I'm just gonna do this. All right, and that's just gonna slowly come out, and they are gonna figure it out. This will be their new place. All right, I'd say that's a win. Our other bees do have a few coming in and out today. It's still kind of grody. Look, so we got the dead ones outside. Looks like they did not make it in before the rain hit, which is very unfortunate. Get those out of the way. There they are. All right. In a future video, we will keep you updated on how it goes. So remember, this one is the brown and yellow. This is how I keep track of hives. I'm like, oh, the pink and yellow, or the coral and orange. Like, they're all wanting to come out badly, but it's just too wet. All right, thanks for hanging out with us today. Static cling is still real in this hood. And we are gonna get out inside and have some hot coffee because I'm soaked and freezing. All right, bye. Good morning and welcome back to Cheeky Little Piggy Farm. Today I'm gonna show you a swarm that I caught this morning in the pouring down rain. As you know, we are a small homestead. We're just under 2 acres, and we have bees and pigs and peacocks and chickens, and we run a business out of our home as a side, selling jams and jellies and preserves and pickles and things that we make here and grow right here on the farm. So this is a bee swarm, my first one of the season. I usually have several by now, but it's been a crappy spring here in Boring, Oregon. So I kind of pieced together the video because it would start pouring while I was trying to do little parts of the swarm capture. So I'm hoping I can show you kind of the importance of why you should go out and get swarms when you can. And hopefully you learned something. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I love to talk bees.